Hello guys, it's Benga. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm just going to be showing my design process of how I came up with this shirt, which is basically a seafood diet shirt. And I basically started with my tablet and I kind of sketched out what I wanted to draw, which is this cat, eating spaghetti. Then I took that into Photoshop and just kind of cleaned it up a bit and did all the line works in Photoshop. When you're setting up your documents for Photoshop, always ensure to put it make sure your drawing, your file size is really large. For example, in this one I did a 14 inches by 18 inches, and yeah, that ensures that the picture quality is quite it's very it's very high quality basically. So when you print it out on a shirt, it doesn't depixelate. So you need to you have to, that's just one thing to note when you're making when you're setting up your file size. Make sure it's a really large file, or 18 inches is about 5,000 pixels if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so just ensure it's really large. So yeah, so I basically just went in, imported the sketch I did on my tablet. I was just I was on the move basically, so I just decided to quickly sketch this cat character, eating spaghetti. And yeah, so that's just basically what I did a quick sketch and imported that into Photoshop and just kind of finished that off with the line work. Yeah, so I decided to make the cat a bit more furry, so I put in the hair tuft by the sides of the head, and basically decided on the color palette I was going to use. This kind of took me a while. I kind of dabbled with a little bit of the color, but later I kind of decided to go with this kind of Garfield looking color. So yeah, so I went with this orangey looking thing with the brown stripes basically. I just basically went with that and just went in and kind of colored that, made that color theme just rhyme with how a cat's kind of color would look like. I didn't want it to look too much like a tiger or a tiger cub or something. So yeah, so I just basically went in and painted that right in there. Try to put some color in the spaghetti bowl as well. I ended up putting some meatballs in there, and yeah, from there I went on to start the shadows. And the way I do my shadows is actually quite easy. All you need to do is just basically use a dark blue tint, a dark blue color, and basically put that on top of your base color. Once you put that on top of your base color, all you have to do is just to multiply, change the blend mode to multiply, and reduce it by about 50% or 60%, depending on how strong you want your shadows to be. And that's just basically how I come up with my shadows. And I just go in and basically paint the character with where I feel the shadows are going to fall. And for my highlights as well, I do something very similar. So instead of putting it on multiply for the blend mode, I put it on divide. And what I do is I take a slightly darker color from the color the base color, and then I paint that on top of it and kind of reduce and just keep the opacity at 100%. And I just go in and just basically lightly touch where I feel the highlights are going to be eating the character. And since the shadow is coming from the left this time, so the highlights basically will be coming from the right. So I just went in and just kind of painted where I feel the highlights are going to touch on the bowl, and just basically try to put that on every single item in the drawing. So I went in to put it on the spaghetti as well. So the spaghetti also, the highlights, the whiskers, I kind of put that on the whiskers as well because I wanted the whiskers to be white as well. Then I basically just brought in my text, and I got this theme. The whole theme I started with was I'm on a seafood diet. I see the food and I eat it, and that's just basically a little hilarious joke that I heard recently, and it just kind of stuck to me. And yeah, so I decided to kind of increase the font of where I felt the punchline was, which is the whole seafood diet thing. So I kind of increased the font size of that, and I think it kind of worked well with the image I had with the composition, because yeah, not only because I mean the seafood part is really where the joke is, so I kind of decided to make that part a bit bigger so people don't miss that. And I felt the way it worked with the image kind of, it's worked well with the composition because the cat is off to the side, so the seafood kind of fills that space in there, and yeah, it kind of gives it a good flow. Then I basically just changed the background a bit just to see how it will look on different colors of shirts, and just to make sure it's kind of readable, and the colors match a variety of shirts colors, because I mean the initial intent was to print this on a shirt. So yeah, so I just changed the colors a little bit just to see how it's gonna eventually look on different colors, and I think it looked pretty good, so I decided to just leave it there that way. Then after kind of repositioning it, because I really wanted it to be as big as possible, that's why I kind of made it as fill the space as much as I can. So when I'm uploading it to the print on demand sites I use, it's going to be of great quality. And yeah, so after I changed the color a little bit, I realized that there was something missing, and I decided to put a shadow underneath the cart. And I felt that that kind of makes it a bit more believable, so I just put the shadows in there, and yeah, and that's basically the end of how I came up with this shirt design. The next thing is just to put it on a bunch of mock-ups and see how it's gonna look like, and other than that, I think you're good to go. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, because that really helps my channel to grow a lot. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.